we gotta welcome you guys to the channel. It's your boy Big Dog back with one last DC TV talk for Arrow. It's not the last DC TV talk, but it's the last one for Arrow. The series finale, Fade Out, and yeah, man, this is it. This is the show that started that spurred off so many other shows. The show that let people know that like superheroes shows can work, and they can work in a more serious note, because we've had stuff come along like Superman and Lois, the adventure, I think it was Superman and Lois, or Smallville. I never personally got into Smallville, and then we had Arrow, which became a worldwide phenomenon, a show that was loved by many. It just had its ups and downs. It had good seasons, it had great seasons, it had not so great seasons. We had memorable characters, we had stuff we kind of want to forget. It had a show that had everything, and that spurred off the Arrowverse with the Flash, the Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow, Black Lightning, and Batwoman. All these shows we probably thought we'll never see happen because of this one show, and now this show is at its end. It didn't overstay its welcome. It said, hey, we went this far. I think it's the right time for them to end it. We have all these other heroes coming along, and as much as people don't want to admit it, Arrow opened the door for a lot of the other shows we've got, even not just DC shows or for some Marvel shows. I think Arrow opened the door for Daredevil, for Luke Cage, for unfortunately opened the door for Iron Fist, Jessica Jones, all these other shows, the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., Titan, Swamp Thing, Krypton, all these shows I think kind of are what they are now because of Arrow and what Arrow was able to do. Granted, I'll say this: I didn't watch Arrow at the beginning. I don't think I got into Arrow till I want to say season 3 is when I first started watching it. And I actually watched The Flash before I even watched Arrow, but I ended up going back and rewatching Arrow, and Arrow season 2 is still one of my favorite seasons of any superhero show, and as well as season 8. Season 8 is really landed. Yeah, like I said, I knew they was gonna give it their all this season. The fact that it was short and 10 episodes and it really had a tight story, and the message was there. I really enjoyed that, and that's what this episode was pretty much about. It was like bringing back the people who've been in this thing for the beginning, and some people who came along later at the end, like Mia, Dinah, Black. Well, I'm just gonna say Black Siren because her Earth was gone. She hasn't been there that long, but it was a really good way to end the show, and I think like if you were invested, I think you kind of like felt this ending. Like you felt something when this show was ending. You knew it was fading to black. It was going out. You knew this was the end. This was the end. This is it. Because you just have one last flashback mission that was going on. Probably season 1 where young Oliver is crossing people off his list. Not only is he crossing them, of course we know how he did it then. He was killing them. You have the crew together. You have Thea and Roy. He proposed to her. They're getting married. You have the last of John, who's just kind of like holding on to like, it's not over yet. It's not over yet. You have Dinah, who's about to move up. You have Renee, who's about to become mayor. Laura, who really doesn't know her place right now, is kind of confused. She goes talk to Quinn like, why, if everybody, once he changed and saved the world and we kind of like rebooted this thing, everybody came back except for your Laura. Like, why am I still here? Maybe if I wasn't here, she would have been able to come back. It's just a whole bunch of things. Because I think a lot of people sometimes, like, why didn't she come back? I think it was possible. I think they always had that on the table. Like, yeah, we can bring Laura back. But, like, in some regards, it's like, we have this one. We don't want to kind of shun this one off. We want to make some of the deaths like last, and like his mother, that changed. Tommy changed, and like seeing all these people, Nissa, Talia, like so many people who's in Ragdoll who we haven't seen I don't know how long. all these people who played a part in this journey that got us to where we are now came back for one last time for this show, so we can see them off. And I really enjoyed that. The moment I think that got me was probably the moment between Mia and Felicity at the actual at the graveyard when they embraced. That's the moment I think that actually got me. Cause I was like, yeah, this is big. Like, this is big. Undoubtedly, it's big. Um, and yeah, that's the moment I think that kind of, I'm gonna say crushed me, but got me. And anytime, also Dig with the speech. I think it was only right that Dig was the person who made the speech, because he's been the person who's been there the longest as far as with this journey with Oliver and to what's going on. So I think it was great to see him. And like I said, the show, it was a great send off for all the characters and all the direction they are going in. We know what's going on with Arrow and the Green Arrow and the Canaries. Hopefully that gets picked up, and we see that John is moving to Metropolis. Hopefully to take on the role of Green Lantern alongside Superman and Lois. So that would be something great to have. And I think all these other characters, just because Arrow is ending, doesn't mean that these other characters won't have some part to play in future plans. And the way the show just pretty much wraps up at the very end with in 2040 with Felicity going to be with Oliver is good. Even though they finna spend an eternity together, just them two, I don't know what can they possibly do. Just what do you do all day when all day is forever? You know what I'm saying? So that's gonna be interesting. Wow, they will get tired of each other eventually. But yeah, man, I think this was a great season and series finale. I thought this last season with Arrow great. I'm happy that it ended the way, on the note that it did, and Arrow will forever be remembered as the show that started this superhero television world that we gratefully live in today. But you guys, let me know what you thought about the show, series, the series finale. Thanks for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to my channel. I'll catch you with you guys later. Peace.